Hey, welcome! If you've landed here, there's a good chance something brought you to the moment of asking, what is my brand really? I'm Stella, and Creator Branding Studio started as something I made for all the people who feel like you do. In this video, I will walk you through the whole experience. No fluff, obviously no sales pitch because the tool is free. Let's go! This is your canvas. That dotted grid, that open space, it's intentional. You're going to fill it. Not with guesswork, but with things you've actually decided. Down here is your journey bar. 9 tabs, 9 steps. Right now, most of them are locked. And that's intentional as well. So let's start with the first unlocked tab, Goals Check. The first question this tool asks you is, what are you actually here for? These 6 tiles cover the real reasons creators build brands. Now let's go a little bit deeper. The vibe check is a series of 6 questions, and each one gives you 10 options to choose from. None of the answers are wrong. There is no correct branding. The point is simply to notice what resonates, what you actually recognize as yours. When people land on your profile, you want them to think, this one is so useful because most of us never sit down and answer it directly. We post, we create, but we rarely ask, what's the one impression I'm trying to leave? 6 questions, 10 options each. And when you answer 5 of them, which is all the tool requires, you have enough signal to work with. Here's where it gets good. Based on your goals and your vibe check answers, the tool has identified your primary brand archetype. And in this case, for me, it's the sage. Knowledge is your superpower. And underneath your primary archetype, you'll also see your supporting archetypes. In this case, the ruler and the magician. These add nuance. Your brand isn't only the sage, it's the sage with a certain kind of authority, a certain kind of transformation in the mix. Once you have your archetype, the next step is making it personal, because archetypes are useful frameworks. But your brand isn't a framework, it's yours. So this step asks you to select the motivations that actually resonate. You'll also pick what you want to avoid in your brand, the things that would feel off or out of alignment. And then your ultimate goal, the deeper reason behind everything you create. This card is now on your canvas, just like all the other ones. It shows a decision you made about what your brand stands for. That distinction really matters. Now, the visual lab. This is one of my favorite parts to watch people go through. 12 pairs of images. For each pair, you pick one. That's it. The instructions say don't overthink it, and I mean that. The whole point of presenting them as pairs is to make the choice fast and instinctive. Your eye knows things your brain is still catching up to. Notice that you're not analyzing why you're picking what you're picking. You're just picking. That instinct, that pull towards certain images over others. 12 choices. Done? Check. Round 2 shifts gears a little. Now, instead of just picking, you're naming. Each image gets 2 adjectives from you, words that describe what you see, what you feel when you look at it. And you'll notice the autocomplete here. Start typing something like gentle, and it suggests related words, soft, delicate, pastel. The tool is nudging your vocabulary in the direction of your visual intuition. Words like airy, sleek, warm, cozy, minimalistic, futuristic, strong, powerful, monochrome, natural, ethereal. These words are going to matter more than you think right now. Here's where all of that comes together. From everything you've typed, you'll now shortlist up to 6 adjectives, the ones that feel most true, most consistent, most likely to become part of your brand triangle. And then, well, you just pick 3. The final 3 words from your brand triangle. In my case, these are gentle, sleek, and futuristic. Each word is now paired with one of your Visual Lab images. And what you're looking at right there on the screen is the beginning of a visual language, the feeling you want your brand to carry. Typography. I know, some people skip this. Don't. The font you use is part of how your brand speaks before a single word is read. The tool has curated 3 options specifically for your archetype and your brand triangle. These aren't random suggestions. They're matched. Decisions are made, and now we have typography added to our canvas. Color. This is where it gets super satisfying. The colors in your palette weren't chosen arbitrarily. They were extracted directly from the images you selected in the Visual Lab, which means they're already in alignment with your brand triangle. They already feel right because they came from the same source as your words. Your primary palette here, a range of neutrals anchored by 2 accent tones. and below it, a tertiary palette for supporting colors, things you'd use in the backgrounds, dividers, WI elements on a website. If nothing feels quite right, you can re-extract or regenerate. The tool gives you control without drowning you in options. Look at that, you have a color palette, and now you even know why each color is in there. Now, before we close out the canvas, there's one more tab I want to show you: inspiration. Not mood boarding for the sake of mood boarding. This is a curated list of 14 platforms, and here's the part I love. You can paste any reference image URL, a website you admire, a brand account that captures something you're reaching toward, and it becomes a clickable card right on your canvas. Your inspiration isn't lost in a tab you'll never find again. It lives on your canvas, next to your goals, next to your archetype, next to your colors. It's all in one place. I recommend using this section deliberately to avoid cluttering your design brief. The Next Steps tab gives you a checklist of what to actually do with everything you've just built. Logo design and a brand style guide are pre-checked as essentials. These are the two things that translate your canvas into usable creative assets. And at the bottom, download your full brand canvas as a JSON file. Every decision you've made, every card on the canvas, packaged up so you can hand it to a designer, a developer, a collaborator, or just keep it for yourself as a living reference document. Your brand session, safe, portable, yours, and shareable with friends to take another look on, provide feedback. A few minutes ago, this was an empty grid with a blush-colored card that said, "Your brand canvas awaits." Now you have your goals, your archetype, your motivations, your brand triangle with the visual lab images that gave those words their shape. This isn't a template someone handed you. This reflects the decisions you made about who your brand is and what it stands for. That's not a small thing, and is certainly a strong starting point. If your brand has felt blurry, you're not behind. You just haven't had the right tools yet. This one's free to use, no account required to get started. Just open it on your desktop, click Begin Your Journey, and see where it takes you. I'll link it in the description, and if you build something with it, I genuinely love to see it. See you out there!